Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So in today's tutorial I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful 6 pieces skirt. So if you are interested in knowing this, do not forget to hit on the like and the subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. So guys, let's get straight into the video. So guys, this is what the panel skirt looks like. Okay, it is called 6 pieces or a panel skirt. So as you can see, we have this is the waist, and here is the hip line, and also the knee line, and the full length of this skirt. Okay, as you can all see, we have about 3 panels for the front, and the back as well should be 3. So next, I'm just going to rule out the line so you can know what I'm talking about. Here is the hip line, the waistline, the knee line, and the full length. So we have 3 panels for the front. Okay, we have 3 panels for the front, and also we have 3 panels for the back. So I'm doing this so you understand better. So this is the back. So there are 3 panels for the back, but because the back is going to have a zipper at the back, is going to have zipper at the back, we're just going to create another line that shows the back is going to have about 4 panels of so the back is also going to have a tail behind. So just like you see me doing, I'm just doing this so that you understand better, so that when we eventually start cutting, you won't find this hard or difficult. So as you can see, the back is 4 while the front is 3. So it's actually 3 behind, but because of the zipper, so we have to open it up. So for the center front, when you get to the waistline, we're going to use our bust band measurement, that is the nipple to nipple. So you divide it by 2. So let's say for instance the nipple measurement we are using is 8, divided by 2 you add 4. You also mark the same 4 on the hip line, but when you come to the knee line, you're going to subtract half of an inch or 1 inch, because the knee is going to be narrow kind of. So that's what you should have. The knee line is going to be 3 inch, then the waistline and the hip line, you are going to use the same measurement, your bust pan measurement, that is your nipple to nipple. Okay, so guys, and also the wideness of this totally depends on you. It depends on how wide you want this to be and how full you want this to be. Trust me, this consumes much material, much fabric, so you should be ready to have enough fabric before starting this. So we are going to be drafting the center front first before drafting the other parts. So guys, let's get straight into the video. So first thing, I went ahead to fold my fabric into 2. So this is going to determine how wide you want this to be. So for me, I just went ahead to measure 11 inch on fold. So if you open it up, it's going to be 22 inch. So I just went ahead to mark my waistline. Can you see? Just go ahead and mark waistline. Then it's going to have a band. Just go ahead and start your measurement 1 inches off, okay, or 1.5. It depends on the band you're making. Then mark your hip line measurement. So the hip line that I'm using is 8.5. So I went ahead to mark my hip measurement. Okay, so remember, our fabric is on fold and I'm marking on the wrong side of my fabric, and the wideness of this is 11 because I want the down part to be fuller, to be 11. So if you want it fuller, it totally depends on you. So next we are going to mark our knee line measurement. So you place your tape on the waist 1 inches off, then you mark your knee line measurement, and the knee line that we are working with is 19 inch. So I went ahead to mark 19, and I'm just going to connect with my ruler. Okay, can you see? Here's my knee line. The next thing, I'm just going to mark the full length of this skirt. So place your tape on your knee line and continue your measurement. So on 19, and the full length I'm using is actually 42. Okay, so go ahead and mark it. The full length is actually 40, so I went ahead to mark 40, then I added 2 inch, making it 42. So the 2 inch is going to serve as a lining to the actual fabric. So I'm going to be adding lining to this. So I'm just going to cut this XX out, then fold in my allowance, which is 2 inch. Just go ahead and folding just like you see me doing. Okay, I'm going to be adding lining to this. So I went ahead to secure with my safety pin. So this is what you are going to be doing. Go ahead and fold in your seam allowance. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark my bust spine measurement. Like I said, the nipple to nipple measurement I'm using is 8.25. 8.5 divided by 2 is 4.25. So I went ahead to mark 4.25 on the waistline and on the hip line. So just go ahead and connect with your ruler. Then on the knee line, I'm going to subtract half of an inch or 1 inch from what I have. So subtract half of an inch from 4 and 1/4. You're going to mark 3.75. That's 3 and 3/4. So just go ahead and mark, then connect from the hip to the knee line. Okay, so the it's not going to be straight, it's just going to have a slant line. So I went ahead to add half of an inch just like so, because I'm cutting directly on my fabric. Just go ahead and add half of an inch. This is going to serve as our seam allowance for the center front. Can you see? So go ahead and add seam allowance of half of an inch. So I'm going to connect from the point from the knee line to the full length of my skirt. Just go ahead and connect with your ruler. Go ahead and connect straight from the knee line to the hem of your skirt. And I went ahead to cut out just like you see me doing. Remember, you are going to be cutting the center front first. Also remember to add half of an inch on the waistline. So right now I went ahead to fold my fabric again into two. We are going to be cutting the center back first. Just go ahead and fold like so, then you secure with your safety pin. Place the center front on the new fabric that is unfold. Then I'm going to extend my lines. That is, I'm going to extend my waistline, the hip line, and also the knee line. And again, this skirt is going to, the back is going to have an extension like a tail. So at the center back, I'm going to, instead of me to add 1.5 inches seam allowance, I'm going to have an extension. Depends on how wide you want this to be. So I'm just going to mark about 7 inch. So next I'll go ahead and add 1.5 inch on the waistline, then 2 inch on the hip line, because I don't want my bum to be too flat. So I went to add 2 inch on the hip line. Then on the waistline, on the knee line, I'm going to be adding 1.5. So just go ahead and connect the point from the knee to the hip, and also from the hip to the waist. 1.5 on the waist, 2 inch on the hip, and 1.5 on the knee line as well. So this is the center back. Okay, I don't want my bum to be flat. Then on the knee line, I'm going to connect from that point to the hem of my skirt. Remember to fold in your allowance. Go ahead and fold in first. Remember, it's 2 inch. Just go ahead and fold in before connecting. Measure and be sure of what you're measuring. Then you're just going to fold it in and connect from the point from the nail to the hem of the skirt. So this totally depends on how wide you want the back to be. I actually use 7 inch. Like I said, you can make it 7, 8. Totally depends on you. So you're just going to cut out the center back just like you see me doing. Can you see? I'm just going to cut out the other side as well. So right now we have our center front and the center back ready. Can you see? So go ahead and notch the zipper allowance. This is what it looks like. The back has an extension of 7 inch. So right now I'm going to remove the center front. I'll still use the center front to cut the sides. So I'm going to fold my fabric into 4. Okay, then I'm going to place my center front on it. Fold your fabric into 4 and fold in 2 inch, which is the allowance. Just go ahead and fold in like so before cutting. This is going to be easier for us. So I'm going to secure with my safety pin just to put them in place. Fold your fabric into 4. Remember, the sides is going to be 4. The front side is 2. The back side is 2. So making it 4. Then for the side, I'm also going to have an extension. Depends on how full you want the sides to be. I have about 9 inches extension for the side. So if you want it fuller, you can just add it up. Okay. So mine is actually 9. So next I'm going to extend the lines as well. Go ahead and extend the knee line, the hip line, and also the waist line. Make sure you extend the line on both sides. Go ahead and extend the lines just like you see me doing. Just go ahead and extend the lines. Then I'm just going to be cutting out. Just go ahead and cut the center front. Just go ahead and just watch what I'm doing. Remember, our fabric is on 4 folds, so we are cutting the 4 at once. Go ahead and cut this side where we have added a seam allowance. Just go ahead and cut through that side first. Then I'm going to cut the side right now. So I'm going to remove my center panel. I'm just going to remove it and I'm going to place it together just like you see me doing. Go ahead and remove your center panel. Okay, you know we secured it with our safety pin, so remove it and place them on top of each other just like you see me doing. We are going to be putting our actual body measurements. We are going to be imputing our actual body measurement. Okay, so right now on the waistline, I'm going to be dividing my waist measurement by 4. Then I'll add seam allowance of 2 inch. Likewise, on the hip line, I'm going to divide my hip measurement by 4 and I'll add seam allowance of 2 inch as well. The hip we are using is 44, divided by 4 is 11, then you add 2 inches, making it 13. So on the knee line, I'm just going to connect from the hip to the waistline. And on the knee line, I'm going to measure what I have on the hip line, which is 13 inch. Just go ahead and measure. Then you're going to subtract 2 inch so to get your new measurement. So I went ahead to mark 11 inch. Then I connect from the hip line to the waistline, to the knee line. Okay, go ahead and connect from the hip line to the knee line. And also I'm going to connect from the knee line to the hem of my skirt just like you see me doing. Make sure that the hem is actually on fold in your allowance. So connect from that point and I'll go ahead and cut out just like you see me doing. Just go ahead and cut out like so. Here is our panel, our side front and our sides back. So we have 4 pieces. Like I said, I have 4 pieces already. So remove your safety pin. If you count it, this is 4. So guys, we are through with the cutting. Here is our front panel. This is the 1, 2 and the third one, the side front. Okay, can you see the front is actually 3. So when you check the hem of this is it. Can you see how full it, how wide it is? This is it. This is it. So for the back, we have 4 panel here. 1, 2, 3, and the last one, which is 4. So this is going to, because the center is going to be our zipper allowance, like I explained there earlier. We're going to have zipper behind, so that's why it's 4. So next I went ahead to cut the lining piece. Okay, remember the 2 inches that we folded in is now serving as a lining piece to the actual fabric. So next I'm going to arrange my panels together. I'm going to place my center front on the side front, right side facing each other. I'll go ahead and stitch using 1/2 inch. Okay, you stitch one end, then you turn it over and stitch, add the other side, stitch the other side front to the center front. Okay, I don't know if you understand me, but just go ahead and watch what I'm doing. Stitch on the right side, on the wrong side, place right side facing each other and stitch on the wrong side. I'll repeat the same thing to the actual fabric. Go ahead and stitch using 1/2 inch. For the back, I'm going to take the center panel and also the side back, place them together, and I'll stitch using half of an inch. You can as well secure with your safety pin. Okay, so you're not going to stitch, you're just going to stitch them separately. Stitch the back separately. Remember, the back be is going to be two, because it's going to be two piece. So you repeat the same thing to the lining part as well. You're going to be sewing them separately. You sew the lining separately, you sew the actual fabric separately, secure with your safety pin. Okay, so guys, after I was done stitching, I went ahead to give it a good press. Can you see? Here is the back. Open up the seam and give it a good press. I repeated the same thing to the second side. Like I said, the back is going to have two pieces, while the front is just going to be one piece. So I went ahead to open up the seam of my front, the front piece. Can you see? Open up the seam and give it a good press. I've joined the three panels together, and this is what it looks like. Likewise, the lining piece, go ahead and stitch and give it a good press. So right now I'm going to place the right side facing each other of my lining and my actual fabric. I'll go ahead and sew the hem of these skirts. First of all, the first thing you're going to do, sew the hem of the skirt using half of an inch. Then after sewing, you're just going to pull it up, because right now the lining is going to be shorter than the fabric. So because of the 2 inches seam allowance that we left, is going to add up. Once you're just going to pull it up like so, then stitch on the wrong side. Okay, we want to attain a neat finishing. Go ahead and stitch on the other side as well. Go ahead and stitch using half of an inch. Then I'll do the same thing to the back piece. I'm going to place them right side facing each other, and I'll stitch on the two sides. First of all, stitch on the hem of your skirt, then drag it up or pull it up before stitching the sides. Just watch what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just go ahead and stitch like so. I'll repeat the same thing to the second panel as well. So guys, after I was done stitching, this is what it looks like, and you see it looking so beautiful and so neat. And also, this is the second piece as well. Can you see? This is looking so beautiful already. So this is our front panel as well. I'm just going to place them together, right side facing each other, and I'm going to impute my actual body measurement. So I'm going to impute my body measurement. So the waist measurement, just go ahead and impute your measurement. Sorry, this part was not captured well, so I'm just so sorry about that. Well, just go ahead and impute your actual body measurement. Then you're going to place your tape. Remember, it is 1 inches of the. Then you mark your hip line. Then you impute your hip measurements. Okay, so I went ahead to mark 1.5 inch on both sides. So you're just going to connect the point from the waist to the hip line. You do the same thing to the other side as well. Then on the knee line, you're going to mark the new measurement, and you're going to mark 1.5 inch. Okay, so just go ahead and mark 1.5 inch on both sides. Then you're going to connect the points from the knee line to the hip line. Okay, make sure you confirm your measurements before connecting. So I'm going to connect the point from the knee line to the hem of my skirt, just like you see me doing. Okay, you do the same thing to the other side as well. I'll go to my machine. Right now, I'm going to stitch on the lines that we just marked. Go ahead to your machine and stitch on the lines that we just marked. Then turn it to the right side and give it a good press. So guys, after I was done doing that, before then I'm just going to reduce the center front, because I want my skirt to sit well. This waist is not actually flat, so I just went ahead to reduce it. Then I'll go ahead and impute my measurements. After I was done stitching, I went ahead to give it a good press. As you can see, It's actually looking so beautiful. It's looking so beautiful. Can you see the fullness of my skirt? This is so fun and I love it already. So right now we are just going to fix our bands to this skirt, okay? Ensure you're going to open up the zipper space. For the band, I went ahead to mark about 4 inches wideness, then I folded in half of an inch. You are going to press it, then you fold it over into two again. Make sure you have enough of this, okay? Just measure your waistline. Make sure you have more than the waistline. So I'm going to be folding just like you see me doing, and I'm going to stitch on the wrong side of my skirt. Place the right side of your band on the wrong side of your skirt, and you're just going to secure with your safety pin. You go over to your machine, you are going to stitch using half of an inch, okay? Just go ahead and stitch it all the way until you get to the other end. Go ahead and stitch using half of an inch and open up the sides, open up the allowance for the sides. So guys, after I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. This skirt is going to have a band, so I'm going to be measuring 5 inch from my side seam. Can you see? This is my side seam allowance. So from that point, I'm going to be measuring 5 inch, or you can use the dart line for your skirt, both the center, front and the back, or you are just going to measure 5 inch, okay? Just go ahead and measure 5 inch. Then you're just going to take your elastic, you're going to stitch, secure it on both sides. You repeat the same thing to the other side as well. Make sure you're taking your measurement from the center side seam. And again, I have about 5 inch elastic band. So this is it. I'm just going to secure this and show you what it looks like. So guys, after I was done stitching, make sure you secure this very well. I'll go next to my machine. I'm just going to fold in like so. I'm going to fold and I'm going to top stitch. Can you see? Just go ahead and top stitch. When you get to this side where my elastic is, you're just going to pull it, then you stitch, you continue your stitch. Just go ahead and pull, okay? When you get to this point, you're just going to secure with your pin and pull, okay? Just go ahead and pull it over, then you stitch it all the way. So guys, after I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to fixing my zipper after I was done doing that. Then for this band, I went ahead to stitch at the center of my elastic just to secure my elastic to the skirt, okay? So just go ahead and stitch at the center. Just trace it with your hand when stitching. And I love the outcome. This is so beautiful. So if you find this tutorial helpful, do not forget to hit on the like and the subscribe button. Share this video. Thank you all for watching my videos. Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate this. Thank you so much. Thank you. I sincerely appreciate this. See you in my next video. Bye.